Did I fix it? I think I fixed it. It seems like I did. Yeah, okay, I did. Alright, I'm gonna take a few minutes here to get set up. I mean, I've already set everything up, but I need to set things up further, and I also need to do some stuff. Mm, okay. Um, alright, I'm still trying to get things. That is not what I wanted to click. Okay, I got too much bullshit in my taskbar. I don't know what to, Okay. Um, I need to find. Yep, my channel. Yep, I know I'm live. Share. Copy link. Okay, so let's see if people start rolling in. I'm gonna get this started pretty shortly. I'm bending so far over for my microphone. I need to fix this. Maybe bring it out. That's probably better. Christ. So, I need to make sure this is working. Um, the good thing is I can actually look at my live stream and listen to it without the stream hearing it because I've muted my desktop audio. Okay, so tonight's plan is to let me get this display set up real quick. That should be correct. Yeah. So here's the ting. So I don't know if I've talked about this. I'm pretty sure I have not, but I discovered a way to um allow myself to stream music related things to to OBS. So, and also this excuse me, this also works as well for um uh like YouTube, not YouTube, Discord, Telegram, any sort of video call really that asks for a microphone input. It works, which is cool. So is that okay. The good thing is that does not appear on this screen. It only appears on the screen that is not being showed, which is good. But despite that, I'm actually going to minimize that. I'm actually going to add a second display. That's window, not display. Idiot. Display. Display capture 2. Is this the... Oh, automatic. Yeah, and here's the other one. Okay, got it. So this is... You can see my stream now. Oh, it's going crazy over here. So I can switch between these displays. This should definitely be the primary one, but if I want to, show this off for a bit, then that's where my mixer is. So I should probably have a fade between that, maybe. Let's do, let's maybe make a scene. Here, I got an idea. Okay, so this scene has, okay, got it. Is there a easier way to do this? No? Maybe not. Maybe I won't mess with that. Maybe I won't mess with that for now. I think this is probably just the easiest way to do that. That's fine. That's maybe in the future whenever I decide to actually stream professionally, then maybe that'll work. But for now, who cares? Not me. Yeah. So everything sounds good. Everything looks good. Okay. So I need to do some quick audio testing because I don't know if this is gonna be good or bad. I've got my guitar here plugged in. The only thing is I don't know how much. I know it's louder than my microphone, but I don't want it to be so loud that it's like. I've already looked at the levels and it's not like unbearable or anything, which is good. But you know. So I'm just gonna do some quick tests here for a bit. Need a tune actually too. But we'll get to that. Okay, I'm guessing that sounds okay. Actually, I think my mic and my guitar kind of separate pretty well. At least it seems like it. I'm raising the volume of my microphone by a little bit. By let's do. It was at 15 before, I think. So let's do 14. That's fine. Just a little bit louder is fine. Okay, good thing is that it's not louder than my mic. I mean, if I'm talking loudly, then it's loud. It's not loud. All right, that sounds fine to me. So, I hope people start rolling in. I mean, it's kind of late, so, but I don't expect many people to actually bother showing up at this late at this late of time. But what can you do? That's one thing I still need to get better at. Is I need to get better at advertising, not advertising, but like marketing. I guess maybe just making my name out there. So anyway, I'm gonna quickly start playing this audio just to see if it sounds terrible or not. And this might be really loud too. I don't think it's that loud actually. I think it's much quieter than my mic even. It's actually quieter than my guitar too. Whoa, alright. Calm down. Calm down, calm down. It's fine. You're fine. It's okay. It might do that a bit during stream. I hope it doesn't do it too much though. But maybe I can disable some stuff. Discord, Steam. What else? I love when I exit out of Discord on my computer and I get a shit ton of notifications because they didn't get a chance to appear on my laptop. Okay, so this needs to be a lot louder. Okay, let's, where's my mouse? And keep in mind, this isn't everything, so it's going to be quiet for now, but... Once I get this set up now, it's not going to be a huge problem if I do this again. So the settings will stay the same. So raise that to 15, 16, 18. It was at 19 before. So let's do 17. This slider is so finicky. Advanced audio properties. Let's do 17. There we go. That's 17 dB. I meant minus 17. Always make sure you add your minus symbol when you're manually putting in audio levels, because if you don't, then you're going to blast your fucking eardrums out. So this should be okay now. It's still kind of, I don't know. It's definitely audible. I'm gonna float it right around 15. I think that's okay. Oh, calm down. Calm down. Okay, so it's definitely audible. That's good. What's the levels between my mic? So it's not louder than my mic. So my guitar's quieter than my microphone, and the music's quieter than both. So I think that's okay for now. So anyway, I'm gonna give before we get a full ready set go thing, I'm gonna kind of just do a quick rundown of what I've got going on here. Let me switch my display to the mixer board. So this is basically all the stuff that I'm running at the moment. This is, I mean, it stops here at track 21. These first 20 tracks is all just a template that was made for this specific drum set that I just bought recently. Well, I didn't buy shit, but you know. So I'm currently running the P5 signature pack, which is probably one of the best drum packs that has ever existed. Looks like that. And it's really cool. It's just the sounds are they're so good. And they don't really need much to make them sound good, so it's really cool. I'm a big fan. I'm actually going to see what happens if I increase my sample size, maybe. I hope that doesn't destroy everything. Yeah, this is what I'm looking for. Okay, buffer, settings, 24, let's see what happens. Let me close contact, reopen it. Okay. Okay, it's actually running slower. Oh boy, okay. So maybe let's not do that. 250. So anyway, yeah, this is the kit I'm going to be using for this album. I was actually planning on using a different kit. Here, I'll briefly show that. You know what, actually, rather than destroying this setup there, I'm going to do this instead. Let's make a new track. Here's all my fucking plugins that I have recently used. Let's do Contact 7 because why not? I have to start using Contact 7 now for the P5 kit specifically because, um, well, it's the only version of Contact that will run. God damn, it took like fucking 7 clicks to get this thing open. This was the kit that I was using before, which actually this was the same kit that I used. Let's do mix ready. This was the same kit that I used for the last album, actually. And I thought this one sounded really, really good. So my intention was to make it sound a little different. There's this little tune thing up here. It really doesn't do that much, but I mean, here, I'll change it back to 0. Oh boy. But if I tune it up 1, it makes it sound a little bit. It makes it sound a little bit different. I'd rather than tuning it down 1, it didn't sound as good to me. And that snare wasn't as. Whoa, calm down. So calm down. It's okay. I might be doing that a lot because it's probably taking a lot of resources to stream and also play stuff. The CPU occasionally is going to be like, shut up, you know. So that was the kit I was going to use, but then I changed my mind because out of nowhere, GGD was like, hey, you remember that album that we put out like a couple months ago? Yeah, we're going to oh, that's my stream interface. They're like, "Oh, we're going to do a drum kit off of it." And I was like, "Oh, god damn it. Now I got to buy that." Now the cool thing about it is that it's a really hold on. It's a really nice sounding kit. Here, let me just kind of... Can I solo just the kit, maybe? Without all the crazy bullshit going on? Let me mute the reverb and the comp. This is basically just outboard mixing and some other bullshit. That's what the P-comp sounds like. The snare is just... The reverb is essentially just the snare only, really. That's about all that's going on there. Oh, alright. Calm down. But yeah, the drum kit, honestly, I mean, for one, it was easy to find a template because this blew up the minute it dropped. So I got a template loaded that sounded good and worked well and was simple to use. So I've got that going. So yeah, that's the drums. I got my guitar here. I'm actually using a 6-string, but weirdly enough, where's my pick? There it is. It's currently dark in my room, so I can't see my... I got a black fucking table, so it's hard to see what's going on. I need to check something real quick. But, oh, Christ. Um... The the cool thing about this track is that I've got the guitar set up in a certain way going out to where it sounds like it's a lot lower. So I'm using a 6 string, and I'm currently using a tuning. Uh, so I'm currently using a tuning that's referred to as reptile tuning because that's the name of the song that the tuning originates from. Um, so it's essentially it's kind of like just D standard. You have your typical D standard thing. But instead of doing like drop C like you normally would do, like that, like you drop the D from C down to G because the second string in D standard, or I guess technically the fifth string if we're going technical terms, the A string on your guitar in D standard becomes G. So that's the note. So whenever you tune your E string down to G, an octave below, you get the same kind of like dropped power chord kind of thing going on. But it's a much lower sound, and it's also not like it doesn't have the fifth in there, it's just the octave. But yeah, sounds good. And I like using that, so that's what I do. I don't use that too often. I used it once on Duct Tape Lizard back in 2020, which if anyone remembers that, and I used it again for I used a special tuning actually for Space Colony, which was the only song that used the drop G tuning like that. My cat really wants my attention right now. Hello. So the tuning on Space Colony, actually, I've never talked about this, but it was originally it started out as an open like C major 7, I think, or C major add 9 thing, which was cool originally. But I was like, I want to change this up and make it different. It originated from Scarlet, the song. I used that tuning and I built off of it. So let me think. Scarlet is tuned to open C add 9. So yeah, I was right. But instead, I flipped that to minor. So I took the third and dropped it down another half step to make it minor. So then it was basically C minor add 9, I guess. And that is actually the tuning that appears on the C minor add 9 tuning is actually what appears on Phobos. Um, and then for not Deimos, for Space Colony, I take that exact same tuning and just drop that C down to I drop that C down to G, so I have the octave, and then I still have the weird, crazy like C add 9 thing on the top. So it was this crazy fucking thing that I messed with, and it kind of reshaped how I did everything, and it sounded great, and uh, surprisingly was easy to solo with. So I stuck with it for the whole song, obviously. So that was kind of cool to do, but this is a simplified version of that. So you just have you still have your standard tuning, essentially just one string that sounds weird, and that's what I'm doing here. So my guitar sounds like this, just going in. But then if we look at, I'll actually take my Axe-Fx here, which is what I'm using. I've been using this for the past 2 albums. It did not appear on my first record because we got this when it was already released. I think my album released in like late September of 2020, and this was kind of a Christmas gift. Not really. It was more just like a thing we were buying, but it just so happened to show up in December, I believe. December, maybe, I don't remember, because we actually were on the wait list for it for a while, but we managed to get a chance to buy it, I think 2 months later, which was, I think, December, and we picked it up at that point, and it came maybe December or January. Don't really remember, but when that happened, I immediately started working on songs for Reality and things like that. The first song I actually wrote for Reality was Phobos, at least one of the first parts of that song. Specifically the ending outro portion, the big like kind of epic, big chord mashing bit that I do at the end. There is the part I'm talking about. That's the first part I ever wrote with the Axe-Fx, and the first thing I wrote for Reality. At least I think. But anyway, this is the tone that I built. I found this tone originally on a tone match thing, or not tone match, the Axe Exchange thing. Is that what it is? Axe Change, yeah. It essentially is just a secondary application that allows you to load in user made presets, or user made patches, or whatever term you want to use, preset, patch, tone, whatever, things like that. Tone probably makes the most sense. Amp, I guess, would be the best way to do it. But I used that basic setup. I don't remember entirely what was here before, but I changed a bunch of stuff up. And if you want to hear the tone, I apologize for that. My mic just kind of oh, hold on. Wow, okay, it sounds different on this one. Just bear with me for a moment. This is the sound of the tone on Reality. So I would say that sounds quite a bit different. It's differences here mainly are I'm using a lot of different EQs here. I'm using compression on the guitar now as well, and it's I wouldn't say that's hard, but it's it's but yeah, this is kind of the main change, and I had some people help me with this. I'm also using the enhance block to just kind of widen the stereo field with just the one sound. So it sounds like multiple, because without that, I mean... and that actually appears on the tracks too. It kind of creates a weird stereo effect. So whenever because I like to record in stereo, especially if I'm capturing reverb or delay. It just captures the full tone. And then whenever I do that, is I'll take that stereo track, and if I decide to pan it, I'll put that in mono after the fact. So it still captures the stereo image, but I squished that stereo image back down to mono, so it's still there. It's just not in stereo anymore, and then I can pan it left and right as much as I want. It's the simplest way to do that for me. So these tracks here were recorded in stereo, but you can hear there's a little bit of reverb going on there, which I don't do often, but let me turn that on actually right now. Oh, it's already on. I don't do that too often. I think the only other time I've done that was on Deimos, but that was because it was a similar tone shaping idea where it's like just this super out of control tone, which I'm doing something kind of different for this. Obviously, my guitar right now doesn't sound like this. For one, it's a completely different note, so let's pitch shift it down. So yeah, so now we're there. Just make sure it's the right. I mean, I have relative pitch, so it was easy to figure out, but I didn't want to make sure I was being crazy. So so that's what's going on there. I've got the pitch. And there's a ring modulator. Now it doesn't appear too much. Well, that's probably a lie. It appears infrequently, I should say. It's always on, but I actually have a pedal set up here. I need to reset it. Give me a sec. Okay, that should be better. Not really, actually. It's like weirdly floating. You see that? It's moving on its own. I don't know why it does this sometimes. The problem is if this is happening with like a pitch shifter, then you're gonna hear it. So this is a thing that you have to solve. It's not as bad with this. It may as well be inaudible, but you know. But what this pitch shifter is really doing is this. Finally got it in place. So, I'm trying to figure out what note I set it to. I don't remember. But this is I set it to a specific frequency. It's multiplying said frequency at a certain rate. And it's just a high cut there for how much of that specific frequency you hear. Pitch tracking is pretty cool. Not using it right now. That setting has worked in the past, which is cool, but like I said, right now, not using that. So, yeah. But this really only appears on certain parts. So, like, those big chugs, it appears. Because without it, it just sounds like. But if I add it, it's like got this weird dissonant thing going on. Also, I forgot to mention, I'm running this through a special overdrive, and for this song and this song only, I'm actually boosting the overdrive up more than I normally would, where I usually keep it actually at 0. Because, here, I'll compare the. That's off. That's on. It just cuts out a bit of the low end, gives it a little bit more boost, you know, without adding too much. It's just kind of ideal. And that's like an always on kind of thing for the most part. But I'm boosting the overdrive a little bit, so it's kind of getting a little bit uncontrolled, which is kind of. As you can hear, there's a lot of noise going on because of that, but I don't really care. That's probably too much. I'm also using it on the harmonics, as you heard there. But I'll play that here in the track. So yeah. Also, I completely forgot to mention this. I'm doing some kind of special with this particular album. Originally, I only tracked 2 guitars per track, which it may be hard to believe considering how large the album sounded at the end of the day, at least to me. Um, but only pretty much every song only had two main rhythm tracks, and the exceptions are probably parts of the Gauge had a third track playing every now and then. Um, Cultic, the entirety of Cultic had three rhythm tracks, and that was just an experiment thing to see if it was possible, to see if it could sound good, to see what I could do with it. And parts of Eclipse have three rhythm tracks going on. Well, not three rhythm tracks, just more than one track that plays. Well, yeah, I guess technically you could say rhythm because they're both playing like the power chord thing. So, near the end of the track, the big epic portion of that song, there's maybe three or four in some parts. Like the end of that song had like maybe 5 or 6 guitars playing at once. And here's an even better example because I have, for starters, I have 3 main rhythm tracks now, 2 of which being the tone I just showed you. And the other one being something completely different. Which is fair to say on its own sounds kind of strange because, well, you know, it's completely different, but I can't argue with those results. It's just I literally am physically unable to argue with that. So I'll give you a quick tour of that tone. I keep forgetting that these disable every time I change my preset because I'm running my microphone. I don't know if you can see this, but I'm running my microphone through the frickin' thing. So, yeah. So essentially what I'm doing here is, I'll turn this off for now. This is the main tone. Let me turn the thing back down real quick. There it is. So yeah, so this is what this one sounds like. Yeah. I haven't used this very much on my albums yet, and I figured, well, I like it. And it is indeed a periphery tone match. It's actually, there's a special cabinet that we found in the Axe Change feature that essentially, so I mean without it, it's just it's kind of regular standard kind of, it's a little different, a little bass heavy, but but with that actually, and I purposefully modernized this a little bit. That's without those other cabinets I added. Because this is a Misha Gent mix, and this is Misha Zilla mix, or V30s. It just kind of, it tightened up the mix a little bit on the tone. add a little bit of that low end that I was looking for. And actually, I purposefully did that because I cut some of the highs out. And also, this one has cut lows to begin with, so this one has a little bit of cut lows. Um, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with that. But the cool thing is, too, is that I have a pitch shifter happening, and that is always on. No matter what I play, it's nothing. I mean, with this patch, unless I'm like playing through the clean tone here, that's the lead tone. This is the clean tone. Unless I'm playing with this, it wouldn't be on, but like if I'm playing with the regular, just, I'll show you what this adds. It's just got this huge, like, kind of beefy thing going on there, and it's not like 100%. It's not even 50%. And like I said, that's on every track. That's on every part of this rhythm track specifically. And it's not on the other ones. The other ones aren't they don't have an octave effect going on. It's just the plain track. But you can even hear it here. If I go back here real quick. You can hear it there, and it almost like unintentionally is adding to the bass when it really shouldn't be, but I just kind of EQ that out, so it's not a big deal. Like I just did that there. Here, I'll just quickly switch my screen again to the mix board. So this track, Guitar 3, is, and I'll show you what I'm doing there. It's just a low cut at like 124. I just kind of pinpoint where it sounded best. So, careful there. I just kind of pinpoint it where it sounded best in that spot. So these guitars are actually EQ'd differently. They are doing the same thing, but they're a little lower because there's less to cut. So yeah, because there's nothing octave going on. It's just the so yeah. Let me quickly talk about the bass as well. This is actually a slightly new thing for me. Now, whenever I was working on, I clicked on the wrong thing. I was trying to open up OBS so I could change my screen back. There we go. Actually, fuck that. No, I need to be back here. So we're looking at this track right here. So whenever I was working on my first album, Noise, I didn't have a Dingwall quite yet for the first 3 tracks that I released. At least I think, because I released Animosity first, which had I'll show you a picture of it actually. Give me a quick second. Let me move this over here for 1 bit. It was essentially this. This was the bass that was on parts of Reality. Not all of the album, but most of the album was this. Well, not most. That's a lie because I only recorded the first 3 songs with this one. But this was the bass. Pretty cheap, low end, kind of run of the mill, sort of simple 5-string bass to get me started on playing 5-string. And I'll tell you what, I love this thing, so I can't argue with it. This probably would have been a better option though, because the Ibanez basses are good. But uh, moving on from that, uh, I I used that for Animosity. I used that for Birth of the Noise, I believe. And I used that for KDB. And after that point, it was getting relatively close to my birthday, and we were actually in the middle of recording. I think we were recording "Have Fun," and that might have been it. I think we were just recording "Have Fun." I took a short break, maybe from recording after I released the 3 songs. Um, um, but I did that, and my birthday came around relatively close, and I got the Dingwall for my birthday that year in 2020. So we were like, well, shit, now we got to use this. So we already had the other songs written and recorded with the other bass. So I was like, you know what, we'll keep it. We'll try to mix it to sound as best as possible, but I think it's okay. Um, it's funny because um, whenever we did whenever we did Animosity, we didn't even have the 11 rack yet, which the 11 rack was on pretty much the entirety of Noise. It was every bass track and every guitar track was that was that um was that modeler that we got on Reverb for next to no money, I believe. A little dated, I would say. Um but you know what, for being like a sister to the Axe Effects, I thought it worked really fucking well and it sounded great. Had a lot of good capabilities, pretty simple to use to learn after a little while. I was building tones just straight on the machine. I didn't have to worry about any software. I mean, there was software you could download, but it was actually bricking my laptop, so I wasn't able to install it on my machine. Um, but uh, so whenever we when we got the Dingwall, we recorded um Have Fun. That was the first song I recorded with the Dingwall, which is weird because it's just kind of the really simple, repetitive track that was on the record. Um, but that was indeed the first track with that bass. Excuse me. I think the second might have been. Excuse me. Maybe Blue Light Special. Maybe. Um, um, Either that or maybe no, it had to be Blue Light Special because I already had 4 tracks at that point and there was only 3 more left. So it had to be Blue Light Special. Um, Actually, that song was written on bass. In fact, that riff I wrote on the bass when I was messing around with the the drop A tuning thing that I've used several times. Um, but so anyway, um, I originally here was actually using a very special patch with the Axe Effects. I won't open it because it'll fuck up my microphone. But this here that says 2023 bass, um, it actually I think was something built off of. You see how many basses there are here? These are all the ones that I've used over the time that I've had the Axe. So New Nolly I think was the very first one that we used, unless I can find a different one. No, New Nolly, and then New Gent Bass copy, newest bass. This was for a different side project. This was for a different side project. That's just something I made, and then I named this 2023 bass just to stop with the newest thing. Uh, so this bass right here is probably outdated as fuck because we used that for. We were using it, I think, for parts of the beginnings of Reality, I think, and then all of the, like, I think this started out whenever I first got the axe. I was just kind of building my Dingwall tone and everything. And then I did it again, and then I did it again, and then I did it again. And I think one of these two here wound up on Reality. Don't remember which one, but one of these was on Reality. Um, then this one I made here relatively recently for this album specifically, but I didn't wind up using it. And that was only a recent thing. Because of I I discovered recently that Nolly himself actually um is doing, he did like the free masterclass thing for Wildfire, and I think he actually released the stems as well. Like he kind of like how he did for It's Only Smiles back in 2020 or whatever. Um uh but he went and showed his full bass chain, which I'm like, "Uh-oh, that was a bad idea." So, you know, knowing me, you'll see here this Pro C has nothing to do with it. This parallax patch here is pretty much exactly his to a T. This first EQ here is adjusted slightly, but it's pretty much exactly his again to a T. And this one is even more exactly to a T. So, I have pretty much stolen his bass tone, and it's now my bass tone. But you know what? That's kind of what you do in this industry, is you just take shit. So, with that being said, this is the bass that I have running for this right now. Doesn't sound like that. I don't know why it keeps doing that. That's like really bad. So yeah, that's the bass tone I've got going on here. So originally I was actually running 2 bass tracks. And if I ever get to the point of opening uh, a different track, we might see that. I had a completely different parallax patch here. I'll actually show that here. I'll show that what that sounds like. Here's 2023 bass. So I named it the same thing, and it sounds like this. A completely different thing, as opposed to this. So, yeah. Um, I was running 2 tracks, and one of them was the Axe-Fx patch that I made, and one of them was this patch that I made, this 2023 bass here. And they ran alongside each other, so the Axe-Fx patch focused more on the low end. It still was kind of bitey, not like too bitey, but it focused more on low end and just kind of like the regular bass tone that was coming out of the guitar, the bass rather. Good lord. And then the Parallax patch acted as the high end and all the crazy stuff that happened, and together they actually sounded pretty good, at least to me. But then whenever the masterclass dropped, I was like, I have to drop all of that. I have to make my bass sound like his. So it's not like exact, obviously, because I'm not Nolly, and even in copying exactly what he does, somehow my bass sounds different. But it's not a big deal because this still sounds really, really good. And let me compare that to the guitars too. If it doesn't do that, that's probably going to happen a lot more than I want to, and it's pretty much uncontrollable. It's the CPU, really. I need to figure out what's causing the CPU to block up, because it's probably Honestly, it's probably Chrome. No, it is Reaper, but um, desktop window manager. I don't know what that means. Oh, it's mostly OBS actually. OBS is taking all of my CPU. System, whatever that means. System interrupts. Yeah, I don't know. Reaper's taking most of my memory right now. But anyway. Not a big deal. I mean, it's kind of a big deal, but uh, this happens when I record, actually, with this machine. Um, but not as often as it would if I wasn't streaming because it's a lot of data is going towards this shit now. So, yeah, that's it's gonna be a problem, maybe at least for a little bit. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much everything that's going on here. So I don't exactly know where this track is gonna go. Um, but you've already heard a little bit of it. It's I'm taking a lot of inspiration from Humanity's Last Breath, which is probably nothing like this. It honestly sounds more like Hell Below. It's kind of an exact replica of Hell Below 'cause it literally starts the same. It's like the same fucking thing. So, you know, you say you're inspired by one thing and you find that you are in fact inspired by a complete opposite thing. It's funny because I went back to my old record and found a bunch of things that I did that I didn't realize I did that was inspired by other things, and sometimes inspired meant nearly copy exactly note for note or rhythm for rhythm, which I mean is arguable, but but yeah, that was kind of my idea going into it. So I'm kind of capturing that right now. So this riff here is actually an older riff that I did a while ago. Come on, bud. Come on. Come on. Come on. You're okay. So that's actually an older riff I did a long time ago. Let me actually... I don't want my Discord to appear here, so I'm going to quickly move it. I'm going to quickly move it. Quickly move it. Quickly move... Okay, I'm changing my OBS screen. I don't like that you can't move the window while you're in the middle of loading it. It just very annoying and inconvenient. How do I share my stream? Oh, this button right here. No, that's dashboard. No, 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 no. There we go. Share. Okay. Can't believe it's only 10:30. 10:37. Um. Uh. Um. P. Anyway. Um. Um. What the fuck was I getting into? I don't remember actually. Uh. I don't remember what I was getting. Oh yeah, the riff. Yeah. That's right. That's right. Yeah, that riff is old. Um, I made a. See if I can find it. A while ago, I made a quick little demo of Here we go. I need to unmute my desktop audio for this real quick. This might be very loud. Give me a sec. Which, by the way, if anyone's hearing this and is like, "Oh, I wish this was on the record," it's probably not going to be. I mean, I'm going to pull riffs from it, I think, but I don't think this idea in its own is going to be on the album unless I change it up a little bit. I don't know. I really do like this one. I really do like this one. Lower just a little bit. It kind of gets dull here for a bit. I just kind of do this like stupid slappy thing. But the best part of this is the end with the like those little like turbo breakdown thing I got going on. Also, the drums here sound fucking terrible, and I hate that. But I was experimenting with new drum tones because I wanted to get a new drum kit for the new record, but none of the ones that I had sounded as good as the one I was already using. So I went from switching to like 2 or 3 different drum kits to going back to the original, changing it slightly to buying a new one and then using that one. So it was a whole fucking journey. But anyway, this riff comes from here. Much faster, actually. But you'll see it's the same thing. That's both displays, unfortunately. It's the same thing, just different. Come on, bud. Yeah, I pulled that from there. I'm actually pulling a lot of old riffs, fortunately. I'm pulling riffs from things that either haven't been released or have been released and maybe just not publicly. Well, not public. I mean, publicly is not the. It. What I meant is like, is that Jack? Yeah, it is Jack. What the fuck? Did Jack come in and say one thing and then leave? I think he did. That's funny. No, don't open that. I fucking I hate this streaming shit, you know, because I don't have enough windows. I need to have like a third window. It's weird because I think Jack came in for like a second and was like hi and then bye. I'm just gonna close Discord. Yeah, I think Jack came in for a second and then left. That's funny. So anyway, I used a riff on a completely different song that actually was in an old album of mine. It's on SoundCloud. And I'll pull that for you right now. None of you have heard this. If you know me, you've definitely not heard this, even though it's been here since 2019 actually. Yeah, no, I don't care. I'm not paying for fucking SoundCloud. I'm not doing that. This sounds really bad. This is like ancient, but this is where I started. So, you know, humble beginnings, I guess. It's got a Meshuggah vibe, which is kind of the point. But this riff right here I used in a song. I'll have to pull that up in a second, though. hope let's okay. Yeah. All right. I need to find I'll show a short clip of this. I would load it in the project, but I'm not going to because I'm fucking lazy. But I need to find here it is. So this song is on the album actually. This is a sneak peek. This is actually going to be on the record. So yeah, so that riff stems from this 2019 recording I did. It's so bad, but you know, the riff just needed some better footing, so and I gave it some fucking footing, all right. But I love that track that I just did recently. It's very good. It's just kind of goes to show that like production can go a very long way. You know, you can make songs where the same note just drones for 3 minutes straight, and it's like like whatever. But as long as your production's like pretty okay, it's like not a big deal. Because there's a reason why my guitar sounds not like that. There's a reason my guitar sounds like that, and it's because I put effort into making it sound like that. But actually, now that I think about it, I actually need to pull from that song. It's funny. I need to open that other track because where is it? What's it called again? Truck Explosive. That's right. Yeah. That's not what it's called on a record, by the way. I'm not gonna talk about titles yet because some of them might be final, some of them might not be. But yeah. This might take a bit. Not really. Never mind. I've offered like 3 to 4 people to enter my stream, and I think most of them have either ignored it or came in for 2 seconds and then walked right back out. So I'm not gonna play too much of this, but oh, is this still using the old drums? Oh, you bet your ass it is. Yeah. So this is what this used to sound like. Like a little bleed moment there for a bit, but actually I need to pull from which part is it? Oh shit. Right here. This part here. I need to pull these kicks. Because I want this same little... I want that same little thing on this track. So we'll copy that over here. So we'll do... I need to go here. Let's do... What is it? Is it Control M? That's mixer. Shift M. Control Shift M. Oh god, what is it? Shift C. I was close. Okay, so we'll change this to 4. Let's do 2/8 because 2/48. Yeah, that's right. And then back to 4/4. 4/84. Yeah. Oh shit. So I'm actually gonna kind of. I'm gonna take that riff that I did there too. So one thing you'll note, when you guys hear this record when it comes out, whenever it comes out. That's nothing like what I wanted this to sound like, but I'll just delete this for now. I'll leave it there. It's supposed to last like 2 bars. I guess in this case, yeah. It's supposed to last 2 measures, 2 counts rather. Because it's going slower normally. I think it's like half speed. Yeah, this is 90 BPM. This is probably the slowest song I've ever written. I think 90 might be too much though. Not too much. Not like too fast. Like I'm saying too much as in like, oh my god, it's too slow. So let's do eighth note triplets. How does this sound on the record on this one? It is triplet. This is weird. There's a weird thing with either Reaper or my mouse where I have to click things more than once for them to do what they're supposed to do. And it's just been plaguing me every time I open this fucking thing, and I don't know what's going on. Either computer I use has some sort of bug going on with it that I can't figure out or fix. So, it's at this point, it's just like I don't fucking care. Like all these problems just make me want to buy new machines, and I don't have the money for that. So, I just deal with it. So let me think. So it's. So it is triplet, but it kind of it goes triplets and then the straight for 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 notes. Got it. So maybe it's 16 technically for this one. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7. Straight. Well, hold on. Was there 7 notes and then 4, or was there 6 and then 4? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 4. So I need to do 8, actually. What the fuck just happened? What the fuck did I just do? I just clicked something slightly different and then everything changed. You see this shit that I have to deal with? This is why records take like fucking 2 years for me to make. That's not true. It takes me like half a year. And then we go to crazy fast here. No, that sounds too normal. No, that can't be right. Three, 7. So that's right. This is the one problem I have with this is that this is the third time this has happened. I've had a drum beat that I've wanted to transfer from one song to another so I don't have to do it again because it's something particular like this that I kind of wrote on a whim and don't remember how to do. So it's like the problem is I've had to rewrite these fucking beats like 3 times in a row now, and like the first one I did was in a completely different song, and it was like this it was like one of those patterns that's kind of like, whoa, my guitar was off. It was like kind of like it's like one of those things that just kind of goes on for a while and doesn't really repeat very much. And it was a long section, and I was like, oh, I'll just copy and paste that. But because of the tempo discrepancy and the way that it was recorded, it was completely different in the other one. So I was like, well, fuck, now I gotta, not only do I have to relearn this, but I have to rewrite this. And that same thing happened here because this riff here, this is the wrong song. This riff here at the end of this track. This is lifted from another song as well. So I wanted just to copy and paste that, and that didn't work either. So I had to rebuild that as well. This one was much easier because it wasn't anything complicated. And the riff I already knew. I need to pitch shift this back down if I plan on doing stuff with it. Am I actually on the wrong... Am I on the right screen or am I on the wrong screen? Because I've been editing this stuff for a little bit, and I think I've been on the wrong screen the whole time. Because I've been on my secondary monitor, but I'm pretty sure my OBS feed has been on the other monitor, so I apologize for that. You know, work in progress. That's good enough for me. I haven't recorded anything new yet, so I don't need to worry about how that sounds quite yet. So I actually have it right here with me. It would be awesome if I could, like, shrink these somehow. Like, I don't know how that works. I feel like it would be really cool if I could just, like, drag the tempo of this specific thing, just like a bar, just like a key, like, you know. I don't know. Oh, you can just take this whole thing and just make it a MIDI file? That's kind of cool. I didn't know that. You can just load that in, and then that's actually kind of cool. So yeah, so let me hear what this sounds like. So it actually is different. So that is not quite 16th note triplets. That's more like 16th note dotted, except uh maybe I don't do like exactly what it was before, but cuz this is slower, you can even tell. That's cool, but I guess if it's slightly different, it's not the end of the world. That's pretty close, I would say. It's about as close as that's going to get as a copy. I honestly might have just nailed it, and I would never know it. Should I do Tom here, or should I do... I forgot. Am I keeping these at 110 or... Yes. Oh, god damn it. Shut up. Oh, I need to turn my desktop audio back off. There we go. So now, even if I get notifications, you won't hear it. That sounds pretty good. I'm okay with that. It sounds less jagged and crazy than the other one did, but it's very clearly a callback, so I'm... So let's see how that sounds. I haven't worked on this track in like 2 weeks, actually. I think it's been 2 weeks. Yes, it has been 2 weeks. A little more than 2 weeks. Maybe a little less than 2 weeks. I don't remember when I last worked on this. But I made the first little demo of it at night, and yeah, and then I didn't get back to it for a while. That's kind of how I do. Sometimes I do music stuff, and then I don't get back to it. For a while, or sometimes I finish it the next day. Like, but that was not one of those times. So, you know. So we're gonna actually record this one, and I'm actually gonna need to unfortunately mute my microphone when I do this because, as you can see, it's transmitting my mic audio with Reaper because I'm using the same fucking thing to transmit my microphone audio. So, you just need to excuse me as I record this. Okay, I think that sounds pretty good. So I need to figure out what's a. I want like a drum fill to lead out of this little 2, 3, 4 kind of gap here. I don't know what that would be though, because I kind of want to go either back to this beginning part for a bit, and then I'll maybe go back to the beginning part and then end with a heavy riff, because this little intro here Just the first bit is like 25 seconds on its own. 20, 25, 24 maybe. What's the... Okay, probably closer to 19, honestly. And if I do it once, then... I don't know, maybe I'll do it. No, I'll do it once. If I do repeat the beginning part, I'll do it once and not twice. That just seems to make sense to me. I need to get my bass. So you'll get to hear the bass tone here in a minute. Close this. I don't need that anymore. I don't think my mic will be on for that, though. But it'll be quick, so it won't be a big deal. Alright, that took a lot longer than I wanted it to, but, yeah. I didn't realize that there wasn't that single bass hit there for this part here at the end, so I don't know if that got deleted somehow or if it just didn't exist to begin with. Because it sure looks like it didn't, so, yeah. This, too, is part of my problem. Whenever I'm trying to just move clips around, my fucking ruler jumps back and forth out of nowhere. Again, don't know why it's doing that, because it doesn't do it on my other machine. The problem is here is that my bigger, better working computer that would probably stream this perfectly fine is currently having inoperable audio issues that I have no clue how to fix, and it's infecting my recording, and it's making my recording sound worse, and I can't figure out what's going on, and it's been happening for over a year now. Almost a year now. And when I try to record from here, all those problems go away because it's not the same computer, but for whatever reason, this instance of Reaper just barely works, and I don't know why that is. I need to update, but it's not that, so I don't know what the fuck is happening. It's just so tiring to have to work with this software and it just not working. I mean, that's kind of just my life, honestly. Just opening up things that don't work and trying to get them to work for, several hours straight until they decide to work. Why is this thing so fucking hot? I don't know, but I think the pickups on this thing might be hotter than my guitar. See, part of me wants to record more, but this is just gonna keep going, and it's getting relatively late. I need to figure out what I want to put here, actually. That's 3 double clicks now, 4 double clicks, 5 double clicks. It took 5 double clicks to get this to open. That does not happen on my other computer. Not even a little bit. So, yeah. That's what I've been having to deal with. Is my, yes, it is. Give me 1 second. I need to get my guitar back. All right. Looking pretty good here. Let me get my fucking shit plugged back in. Where is my other pick? There it is. Okay. I don't know what kind of fill to add here, because I've kind of done them all. Not really. Give me a sec. I need to mute that again. There we go. Alrighty. I'm trying to envision this because this is a long fucking pause. I mean, it's 4 counts plus 2 more. Well, 1 more, I guess. I guess technically I have to count this one here because it only plays for 2 measures, and this little accent here is. I don't know. I mean, because keep in mind, it's going to probably lead back to this. Put a marker here. I have to do that there. Put a marker there because. Oh, I have my thing. Yeah. Remove marker. That's better. M. 2 double clicks that time. Let's see. I don't know. Come on. No, that sounds better as a lead-in, not this fucking stupid space. Okay, I got an idea now. Wow, like fucking 8 clicks for that one little kick. Okay, so I wasn't dumb enough to make those 110. I dropped them to 1-2, which makes sense. The moment there's anything crazy going on, it's like, ugh, I can't handle it. I can't handle it. Is there a tom there and a fucking... No. There is 3 cymbals, so I'm not going to do that. It's also, if I open up the piano roll and try to play it while it's open, it doesn't help either. Yeah, that makes some sense. Well, I don't know. What the fuck? That makes more sense. Stop it, please. That makes more sense to me. Less than 3-1, it makes 2-2-2 accent. Yeah. Wonder if that should be a tom accent. Just for that one hit. I think that's kind of cool. Yeah, that could be cool. I'm having a weird problem with the cymbals in this kit, though, specifically the crashes. So, I could just copy these over, honestly. I'll just create a new fucking track. That's not what I asked for. This is another thing too, is copying things over has always been a pain in my ass. I like the ending to that one track specifically, like. I accidentally did some weird, like, octave thing at the end, and it's not even remotely audible in the track, but, you know, it's still there. Kind of cool. Actually, I have an idea. Yeah, that works better than having it ring out with the drums. It doesn't make much sense to do that. Oh, I forgot to go over a couple other things here. Again, just make new fucking tracks. Like, I just copied you from existing tracks. Why would you make new ones if you already existed? That doesn't make any fucking sense. So, I have 2 tracks here that actually have something very special. I'm going to change my screen to the mix board here for a minute. So this one track called Super Octave is I'm gonna go ahead and say it's a little bit overkill, and it doesn't sound good even a little bit. But you know what? In the mix, it adds a lot of cool noise. And it's mostly adding to the bass more than anything. But yeah, there's that too, which is cool. So essentially what that is it was a specific whammy setting that I used. It was a very specific whammy setting that I used that allowed me to start at, like, I guess an octave below what I already was at. So, like, I think F2 going to F1. Would that be F0? No. Would it be F0? I don't know. I don't know what note this is, but it's low as fuck. But it rings with the bass. It honestly might be lower than the bass. I don't know. I don't remember what I did with this, but it sounded ridiculous, and I was like, I have to keep this. There's no way. Actually, let me go back to So I was looking back to see if I happened to save it, and I didn't. So every time I wanted to do that effect, I'd have to go back and actually manually add it back in, which isn't a big deal, but you know. Um, but this, yeah, this sound here is a little crazy. Now, let me play the guitars with that sound, and then without it. Better yet, I'll add it in the mix. It just kind of adds a little bit of thickness. It's just this like crazy rumbly noise, which sometimes is not good, but in this case it is. And it's not palm muted or anything. It's just me fucking wailing at the notes. Where's my pick? This is like the 4th time I've said this. Just me wailing at the notes super hard. So there's another track here that does something completely different. Now, this track is called the Deimos sound for a reason, because it quite literally uses the exact same tone setup that I had for Deimos, which, if you remember, is one of the tracks from Reality, which is actually part 2 of a 2-part thing that I kind of did, which I don't really know why I did that, but I just kind of, because Phobos and Deimos, they go together, so I figured I'll have like a 2-part song. One part that's like kind of proggy, and the other part just kind of like crazy math kind of, it was relatively well written in concept and on paper. But there was no overarching story or anything, obviously, because 1, it's instrumental, and 2, because I didn't care to do that. I just wanted to have 2 songs that shared similar themes. And they actually share the same riff in part of the song, but it's... Trying to see if I can play it. Yeah, it's that part. The guitar is super out of tune. But it was that riff from Phobos and Deimos that was shared between the 2, just in different contexts. Which, like I said, that was the first riff that I ever wrote for Reality, and also the first riff I wrote on the Axe Effects. But in Deimos, this is a quick tangent here, but in Deimos the riff is used a little differently. It's like something like that, and it goes into the crazy harmonic. Let me actually pull up the Deimos tone here briefly. It's actually already open. So actually, now that I think about it, I think this song had the same tuning as Phobos, except it was pitch shifted down. So it was that same C minor add 9, which became, I guess, G minor add 9. Oh, I see what happened. When I laid my guitar down, it... Because of the way that tuning peg sits, when I lay it down on my bed, it kind of detunes it. That's how I did that sound, by the way. You see how the mix is going up and down? That's how I did that. I was very lucky that that riff landed the way that it did. Yeah, so it's a mix. This little crazy, like, this crazy trill thing is a mix of a couple things. It's so if you look here, this is a sequencer, and essentially it plays a bunch of notes in a 24 to 24 semitone range. So it's like negative 24 up to 24. So I can go all the way down to negative 24 and then go back up to positive 24. So let's go back to 21 real quick. So this is just like this crazy sequence I set up. So it's as quick as it possibly can go. Only 4 steps, so it just goes. And I wanted to make sure it wasn't like very harmonic at all. So, but the cool thing is this goes for anything that you play. So let's say I play a chord like. So it's like a basic, I don't know. Here, I'll play a D chord. Where's D at? There's D. So yeah, so there's just a basic D chord. But every note gets changed to this crazy sequence, so it just adds to it every time you play a note. So, and then when you add the ring modulator, let me turn the pitch shifter off or the sequencer off. So it was just going every which way to make it bad. So, you know, the pedal makes both of these go from 0 to full, which is how it works the way it does. As you can see, here's the mix there of that. And essentially what I do is I just kind of hit anything. For the most part, I'm hitting like harmonics, like harsh ones. I haven't had my... I just realized my fucking pedal wasn't on. Yeah, any note that just sounds unnatural, but that's what that was. But yeah, so this patch, actually I didn't use the ring modulator, and that was kind of an accidental thing, but I just kept it because I wanted to. But I used the Demo sound here to let me think. I think I pitch shifted it down to there. No, I'm sorry, because I'm in C standard. So yeah, so it kind of sounded like that, basically. So rather than having the ring modulator and the sequencer, I just had the sequencer here, which was, like I said, partially accidental, but you know, it still sounds cool. So I can't argue with that. So I wanted to add that crazy noise here as well, but rather than just playing the noise, I actually played the guitar riff as well, but not the full, like, I just kind of played it lightly. Not as loud as anything, actually, just relatively quiet in the mix. So there's that crazy note. Yeah, even here, whenever there's not much going on, it's hard to hear. But that was kind of done intentionally, so it's in the mix, but it's not like the loudest thing you've ever heard. So I think that's fine, though. I am completely okay with that. So let me just copy these 3 guitar tracks. We'll finally finish this fucking tangent I just went on. Is this lining up? The fuck am I? Hold on. I can't see that from here. Somehow. There we go. God damn. Come on. Come on. All right. So I'll put that there. I think we'll add a choke at the end. Did I already do a China choke? I did do a China choke. Let's do there we go. That simple works. Okay, this does not need to be 122. 110 is fine. That's actually a really good ending, but like, is that the ending I want? Because this is only a 2-minute song, and I'm a little tired of making 2-minute songs. I mentioned on my, I mentioned on my, let me actually, I forgot to fucking do this again. This is the not the first time this has happened. Um, I when I first posted on Instagram about let me change my tone back because my mic sounds like shit on this one. When I first posted on Instagram about the record, I think I mentioned that the album was going to be really short. And so far that is still staying true, unless maybe I decide to record one relatively long song. Because I've barely even hit the 4-minute mark on only one track. One of my tracks was actually 3 minutes, which that was with a minute-long outro, which I didn't even realize was a minute long until I let it play. But it doesn't really feel that long to me. It's just I don't know. I don't know why these things feel shorter to me in my brain and in my and to my ears than they actually are physically in real time. It's so crazy. I don't know. And then the rest of the songs themselves just feel short to begin with. It's just I don't know. I I'm not entirely doing it intentionally. It's kind of just like where things have naturally ended for me. And it's been easier to do shorter songs anyway because I'm not worried about you know, 5-minute songs every time I record. Um but the good thing is they still sound good. At least to me, I think. So, that's really the most important part. So as long as I have that, it's not really a problem to me, I think. Um it might I mean, I think I'm already almost as long as I think no, actually no, I'm not. I believe that Noise was 27 minutes and it was only 7 tracks. And if I do, I mean, this is what's the track number 6. I look myself up frequently if you're wondering why my search result was already there. Um 27 minutes, almost 28 minutes actually. So I basically 28 minutes, round that up to 28 basically. Um I I I I don't know if I care so much about runtime really, but uh um right now I'm at like I think 15 minutes, which is crazy because I have 5 songs done and I'm working on the 6th. And if I want 7 tracks, then it might only be like 20 minutes. And if I want uh 8 tracks, it may only be like 25. So this either way will still be my shortest record, which again, it might be a good thing, might be a bad thing, I don't know, because maybe I'll strike up some inspiration and all of a sudden I write an 8-minute song and that's just how that goes. I don't know. I don't know what's in store for me because I have no clue what the next few songs are going to be. Let me think. Let me think. So I have that one. I have that one. I can actually put them in. Do I have them here? I think I should have them here. Give me one sec. I'm gonna hide my screen for a bit because I don't want you to see the song titles because some of them are working titles and some of them aren't. So I may as well not give you hints. Okay, so that's 5 right there. So this is the 6th one. Do I have WinZip? WinZip, Winamp. I do have Winamp. I don't care. Okay, I'm actually missing one. Oh, I'm missing the newest one. Right. So this goes like that. So I'm at 13 minutes and 19 seconds with what I've currently got right now. And I could probably extend it to maybe another minute with just the tracks that I've got right now. If maybe I do some tempo manipulation with some of the tracks, if I do maybe some different changes on certain things, just like some small changes, it's possible I could extend that to another minute just by manipulating some stuff with the stuff that I've already worked on. But um, you know, it's I'm not really worried about it at the moment. So I'm just gonna leave that be. And whatever the time of that album is whatever it's gonna be, and that's just how that's how it's gonna end up. I feel really good about it. I I don't know how to say this compares to any of my other stuff though, because it's just what I'm feeling right now works best for me. So it's a little experimental, I think, on my part, which my music was always experimental to begin with, but it was always very like you know, there's certainly there's certainly a margin to my music. I feel like a margin of listening of listeners. And there's the people that they like the heavy stuff, and it's some of the stuff that's heavy but not super complicated. Just kind of it gets the point across, and it's just you can really get into it and just kind of headbang, and it's not too crazy. And then there's people that like some of the crazier stuff that I do, where it's a little bit longer, and there's maybe a cool solo in there, and there's a lot of orchestration, and it's big with chords and rhythm, and the drums do crazy stuff. It's like comparing Duct Tape Lizard to Space Colony. Those are two completely different beasts, but I like both of those songs, and they both have their spot in my discography. I feel like just as different things. I feel like if I hadn't done those tracks, I wouldn't be where I am now. It's just kind of the flow of time is you always you're always striving to do things different and always do things original. So this is just me trying to do things a little differently on my end and trying to keep it as you know familiar as possible to people that have listened to noise or reality or both. Because there obviously are ties to both of those records. One is better than the other for sure, but um, you know, it's still the same person. And you can kind of usually tell with that kind of thing. So that's really what I'm getting at for the most part. It's just I still want it to sound like me, but at the same time I just want to do things differently for a chance. Um, different formulas, different song styles, different you know things, some things that I haven't done before, like this like heavy style thing. I kind of did back on Reality with Cultic, but it was kind of like more of a Meshuggah thing. It was more just like my Meshuggah song, which I've done on both albums. No, I haven't. No, I didn't do one on Noise actually. And I haven't done one for this record yet, but I'm not sure I will because that kind of it's a little I don't know how to describe it, but it's just eh. As much as I love Meshuggah, it's just that style is it is fun to write and it always leads to good, but you know, it's like just wow. I couldn't tell you why my pedal is acting the way it is, but you know what? Whatever. I'll leave it where it's at right now so it doesn't fuck up in the future, but I'll just keep eye on it and see if it whatever. It's not a big deal. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm going for. There's some stuff here, there's one of the songs is kind of my usual heavy progressive kind of heavy orchestrated kind of thing. It's kind of a sort of a callback to Space Colony a little bit, like the intense orchestration that song had, um, with piano and strings and different types of keyboard. And you know what? I'll actually pull up that briefly now because I think out of all the songs that I've worked on, it's definitely worth. You know what? I won't pull up the. Actually, yes, I will. Yeah, I will. I'm gonna pull up the project, even though this is an older version. Um, I I've recently been exporting my projects to my other computer to work on further. Um, I could finalize them on this machine, but sometimes I just don't. So not the end of the world. It's just kind of how it works for me. Might take a second, but this is definitely worth listening to. It's really good. I feel like this has got really interesting orchestration. It's got the pianos and everything. It's just this is just part of it. Yeah, I mean, like that's just insane. Like that. How much is going on there is just crazy. Um, you know, this kind of shit is just you want if you're purely a metal guitarist, this shit just does not happen. You know what I mean? It's just I mean, just that simple. It's this piano stuff is basic though. I will say that. but the layering I feel like is. But I mean, these strings are so fucking ridiculous. Yeah, so that's what I meant when I'm like, just that big, heavy kind of orchestration kind of thing, where it focuses heavy on big, heavy riffs, but also just pure power and things like that. I got a song that sounds like that. I'm doing the car bomb thing again, kind of like with Deimos. With Deimos, where there's like weird riffs that don't really line up properly, and when it came to Deimos, I focused more on time signatures ruling the way things sounded, which I think still created a good riff and a good song. Um, Good riffs, plural, by the way. I think it created good riffs, um, and everything. Uh, but it didn't wind up like being the full like car bomb experience that I was looking for. But it still was like a unique song to me, so I didn't really care. It was still something I had never really messed with before. So I stuck with it, and that's one of my favorites from Reality. Deimos is such a great track. Um, it's got power, it's got heaviness, it's got the only acoustic track that I've ever recorded on an album, which is funny. Um, and it was not well recorded, mind you, but it was recorded nonetheless. So I've got that. I've got like the Slipknot dying fetus kind of grindcore thing going on too, for like only 2 minutes. Not barely 2 minutes. It's like barely a 2 minute song. It doesn't really give much, and I'm not even sure it should be on the record, but I made it a while ago and I remade it just with new guitars, new drums, and everything. I refreshed some riffs and stuff. I could make it longer artificially, just add maybe one more little spot in there that makes it kind of cool, but it's just I don't know if it needs it. It's not even that good of a song. It's more of like a filler thing, and it's meant to be over the top and like stuff that I would never really make. Um, but I'm adding it in there because it's just like it's crazy. Um, I've got kind of similar to Eclipse, where it's more synth or oriented. I've got another one that's like that to close the album with, because I think that's kind of a good thing of mine that I've been doing recently, is where I'm closing the album with something completely different. But this one, rather than having rather than still having a good rock oriented drums and heavy guitars at the end, I don't have any drums or guitar. It's strictly um, synth based. There are drums, of course, but it's not like the typical drum set that I would use on any other song. Like the drums that were on Eclipse were I'll actually show them to you right now. The drums that I used on Eclipse were drums that I've used in the past um, for different projects. Actually, it was a drum kit that was on Noise quite a bit, actually, because this was the first. This was the first. Um, this was the first One Kit Wonder kit that was ever released, and at the time, it was the only one that was released. Whenever I did my album, so Let's get started. Or it all starts here, rather. I liked this one quite a bit, so I stuck with it. Oh, there is reverb. That's right. How do I? Oh, that's right. Yeah, I do this, and that's the kick. Yeah, I don't know if these sounds ring any bells, but that was the remove tracks. Okay, got it. That was the sound of the drums. Just making sure I had everything set up still. Um, that was the sound of the drums that I used for Eclipse. So it was still very typical, you know, modern-esque sound. It was different than what I was using for a lot of the other stuff. But I'm sorry, that kit was used on. Yeah, that kit was used on most of Noise. I think it was used on. It was definitely used on Have Fun. It was definitely used on Blue Light. It was definitely used on Zero. Those 3 tracks, it definitely was on those. Have Fun, Blue Light, and Zero were all and Duct Tape Lizard. Those 4 had that same kit, just mixed a little differently. And then the other tracks on Noise had either the P4 drums, or they used one track, actually. One single track used, actually maybe two. I think 2 tracks used the Superior Drummer 3. We were messing with that for a bit, but we stopped because we saw newer stuff that was a little better, more oriented what we were looking for. But Superior Drummer is very, very good, and it's a wide range of options that you can choose from. So many different things you can do with sounds and just picking things, and it's incredible what you can do with that. So I won't knock it, but it's not for me. I'd end up spending too much money before I found out the sounds and the drums and the drum samples that I would want, rather than just buying one of the GGD kits and it's like, oh, this is already like perfect, especially whenever they come out of the box and they're like already mixed for you and everything. It's like it's so good for me. But this particular track that I'm working on for this record, it doesn't have any of that kind of drum stuff. It doesn't have any recorded bass, although it does have bass. It has MIDI bass, actually. I programmed bass because I thought it would sound better for what I was going for than it would if it wasn't MIDI bass. I could have played it, but I just didn't. So I guess there technically is bass guitar on the there is bass guitar on that song, but it's programmed. It sounds kind of good though too. I'll pull that up now as well. I've used this before with other stuff, but it's very uncommon that I use it super often. It's just kind of like a, it kind of gets the job done. Let's do full body. That's not what I want. Here, let's do jazz bass. This will be nice and. So yeah, that's kind of what I use that for. I just use it as like a bass, just to program and just have, and it sounds fine in the mix. I don't know if you could tell the difference. Um, but there's no real drums. There's no guitar recorded at all, and the only bass on there is programmed. And if it's not programmed bass, it's just like synth bass. Uh, and it's more of a, it's less uplifting, and it's more like a emotional kind of thing. It's relatively short. It's it's focused more on feeling and kind of like deep, intense emotion than it was like the upliftingness of Eclipse. Eclipse was very happy sounding for what I usually write, but I think it worked out in the end for a good closer compared to everything else on the record. But I think this will work kind of in the same vein, but just adding to the same theme of the album and just creating that like weird environment. Obviously, but you'll hear that whenever it gets to it. Um, but yeah, I've got that. I've got Dying Fetus, Slipknot. I've got Car Bomb. I've got Car Bomb, Dillinger Escape Plan as well. They're kind of combining to get together partially. I've got Knocked Loose. I've got Humanity's Last Breath. A little bit of like that classic Periphery kind of thing. It's all over the place for this record. I'm kind of adding a little bit of my Radiohead stuff that I've learned recently as well. It's a lot of everything really, and I'm very happy with what's come out of it at the moment. It's unfortunate because there's a lot of demos that I've recorded recently that I have posted and shared with people, and they're not long demos. They're just like kind of song concepts, whether they be like a minute and 30 to 2 minutes of song, maybe less than a minute of song, and it's just like, hey, I had a couple riffs that I threw together um, with this particular thing that I had going on, and I'm like, maybe this will be on the next record, and then all of a sudden it's like, I think I'm gonna scrap that entirely. So, but the nice thing is that knowing it's still in my catalog, I always have access to it, and it's always there for me to look at. It's kind of been internalized on my machine, so um, I've already called back to one of my old riffs from 2019 and put that into this song in particular. Not this song, I'm sorry, the other song. There's a different song that uh I was showing you before that had it. And then on this song I have a riff that I scrapped from a different song that I wound up not using. And part of it was because I was creating. I felt like I was making a reality 2, and I didn't want to make a reality 2 because reality was a great kind of all around like heavy progressive metal album, and it checked a lot of boxes with certain things. Uh, Starts off strong with a good heavy, funky intro that kind of introduces the concept of the record, and um, Blood Explosion is just in your face, just insane. A little bit of upliftingness at the end near the choruses and the end, and the solo was just blaring and crazy. Um, you know, Task Failed was kind of just like a a nice headbanger. Real quick, real simple. At least in concept and in writing. Uh, Not so much in playing. Uh, but it was real fast, real quick, nice headbanger. Um, what the fuck else was on that record? That's a good question, actually. I don't even know my own damn record. Uh, what the hell came after Blood Explosion? That's a good question. It wasn't short, was it? No, it couldn't have been short. There's no way. Time to register to vote? Really? Is it actually? Um, it was short. I was right. Short was kind of an idea that I wrote up on a whim. It was like I was copying that that like I unplugged my guitar. Hold on. I apologize for this. Okay, that's done. I did like that octave jumping thing that they do in a lot of the songs. But yeah, so I did that for short. You know, it was something like that. It's much higher than that, obviously, but um, you know, it was basically that. And I wrote that, and I was like, that's kind of cool. I kind of want to use that. And I was like, you know what? Because here's a funny story, and I've never spoken about this, but Duct Tape Lizard was supposed to be like a quick, like super headbangy kind of simple riff-tastic song, but it wound up being like 3 minutes and 40 seconds, and I was like, God damn it. So I did short, and I was like, okay, we're gonna try this again. I'm gonna literally call it short because it's supposed to be short. But then it wound up being another 3 minute song, and I was like, God damn it! So, um, I I still liked it. I kind of had a love hate relationship for a bit, but I loved the chords in that song. It was really nice. But you know, it was kind of that one was definitely filler. That one I could definitely say was filler for sure. Phobos and Deimos. Phobos was kind of like the better half of that two-parter, that 10-minute long two-parter that I did. Um, it was inspired a lot of by Haunted Shores and stuff because that album had just come out relatively recently. Um, when that song was being written, I think the new album at least, and it reminded me of Haunted Shores a bit. So there was a lot of inspiration from that. And actually, that song Phobos, a lot of the riffs for that were written. Actually, that pretty much that whole song was written uh, piece by piece before the record was even really in production. Uh, I had written it in a separate project. I had a very specific project file that I would load in that just had a bunch of ideas that I would work on. And some that I kept and some that I did not. Some of those ideas I think are lost to time because I may have deleted that project for some reason, but that's not a big deal. If it was a good enough idea, I would have remembered it, wouldn't I? Um, but Phobos and Deimos, there was kind of like I wanted to do a two-parter thing that kind of had like very, um, you know, sub-level connections to each other. You know, it was like not very clear or very obvious, but like if you listened hard enough, you could tell like, oh, they're doing that again, and that was in the other song. That's kind of what the purpose of that was. It was just kind of like a cool experimentation thing that I did. It wasn't supposed to be like part one, part two, but it kind of was supposed to be part one, part two. You know, I didn't want to label it as part one, part two on the album because it didn't need to be like that, and I felt like naming a song Phobos and then the following song Deimos just made a lot of sense to me. So, and I like those names. They're both really cool names and they fit well together. So that was that. And Deimos was supposed to be the car bomb thing. I was just getting in the car bomb when I wrote that song, but I didn't quite do that whole thing very well, and it just wound up going a different way, and it was focused more on time signature than it was crazy riffs. But I think it still worked out pretty well in my favor because that was one of my favorite songs on the record. After Deimos, I think was The Gauge. The Gauge was kind of a your typical run of the mill, like kind of like Slipknot-y thing that I did. Uh, I had several people tell me it sounds like Slipknot. I think it's the main riff that sounds like Slipknot because it's like uh, it's where's my pick? There it is. Um, you know, uh, I unplugged my guitar again. Okay, I give up. I unplugged my guitar immediately after I was done playing. Uh, but yeah. Anyway, the point being, it's just it was like the Slipknot kind of thing, and it wasn't really inspired by Slipknot. I That was another one that I wrote piece by piece back before Reality was in production. I was like, I gotta keep that song. I gotta redo that. So I did. Um, Cultic was another one that was kind of done on a whim because I was messing around with a crazy 8-string tuning, um, which actually that is, I think, to date, one of two 8-string songs that I've had on a record. Um, I haven't used an 8-string on this album yet, but I may as well have because I have several songs that are in F sharp to F. This one being F and a previous one being an F sharp, so it could have been done, but I chose not to because I don't know. I have one. It just kind of sits there sometimes, but I do play it every now and then. It's just hard to write songs on it. I don't know why. I think it's probably because it's in standard tuning. But anyway, uh Cultic was written whenever I was messing around with the tuning where I dropped the low F sharp string down to C sharp, which I think C sharp is technically the lowest note on a 9-string. And I was like, you know what? Let's pretend I had a 9-string and see what I could write. So Cultic is what happened out of that. And I had a lot of fun trying to record bass for that one too. I don't know how I managed to do that. I actually wound up with 2 bass tracks. One being programmed, which was fully capable of doing C sharp 0, like with you know with zero effort. But me, on the other hand, I was like, you know what, this song would really benefit from like a really shitty low tuned bass line. And honestly, I think my bass my bass handled C sharp 0 a lot better than I thought it would. It sounded like dog shit, but you know what? I didn't care. The good part was because I had the programmed bass track to better stabilize that sound. So I think the bass track kind of acted more as like um the bass track acted more as like a just a secondary thing for the bass, to add to it a little bit. And I liked that quite a bit. So, um, but yeah, Cultic was definitely the Meshuggah type song on that record. Um, I had done one on my 2019 album, as I just showed you briefly. It wasn't very well written. I actually re-recorded that song in maybe early 2020, I think, before I was working on before I was working on let me actually find out when I did this. Let me go to YouTube, cuz this song is actually on someone else's YouTube channel because I don't know. Where is it actually? There it is. 3 years ago. When was this released? Oh, it was on Valentine's Day basically. Yeah. Actually, the bass tone is ridiculous here. Let me pull this up real quick. Where's the riff at? Yeah, so that was that song. Um but I redid that one. And before Noise was being done. And I never officially released that one because the original wasn't released to begin with, so it didn't matter. I'm thinking maybe in the future, whenever that album turns like, well, let me think. When did I release that on SoundCloud? I gotta look now actually because I don't know. What? I'm sorry, I'm looking on SoundCloud. How are you doing? I can help you reach new listeners for your track. You could receive 210 followers, 3,000 listens, 305 shares and likes, 30-second video about your SoundCloud page if you're interested. No, I'm good. I don't want popularity. Anyway, I love whenever I just release random bullshit and then I get random likes for no reason because bots on SoundCloud are a thing, which sucks, but this album came out on September 13th of 2019, so it was pretty much exactly a year, almost exactly a year before what's it called was released. Almost exactly a year before Noise came out. Just a week and a couple days, or a little 2 weeks basically. 2 weeks before, 2 weeks to a year. A year and 2 weeks. Why are these locked? Why do they say locked on them? I don't know why they say that. I mean, I own these tracks, so I don't know what. I wonder when this album turns like 10, maybe, because I think it's already 4 years old. Is that true? Oh yeah, that's 4 years old. Oh no. Oh boy, it turns 4 this year in September. Oh wait, it already did turn. Oh god, it already did turn 13 or 4. I'm sorry, not 13. It turned 14 last. It turned 4 last week. On this day last week. Oh fuck, that's crazy. Wow, that album's 4 years old. If anyone's interested, go find Acidic Eternity on SoundCloud. One, you'll find my first release named War Simulation, released September 13th, 2019. It's a 7-track album. It only lasts about maybe 20 minutes. Let me think. 2, oh boy, 6, 7, 8, 14, 20, 24, 30, 33 minutes actually. It's like 34 minutes. That's actually not bad for a first release. 34 minutes. I have some other stuff on there too. I released 2 really shitty like joke EPs here a couple days ago. And by a couple days ago, I mean it was in July. Almost a month ago now. I uploaded 2 things onto my SoundCloud just because they it was funny. One of them is not serious at all, and the other one is only slightly more serious. It's just funny to be able to upload stuff to my SoundCloud with very little, with very little. What's the word? Consequence. Or just upload random shit because I can and I want to. Um, but yeah, if you want to check that out, go to that page and take a listen to my first album. But I don't know, maybe whenever my album turns 5, I'll release it as is, mind you. Maybe I'll release it as is. I'll have to do a lot of announcements about it to be like, hey, my records didn't turn to shit. I promise. They I'm just releasing an old record because I can. But I think it would make more sense for me to rather than to uh rather than for me to release it as is, it would make a lot more sense for me to remake it. A lot of the parts I'd have to actually physically relearn and possibly rewrite because I've forgotten them, but um, I can't imagine it would be that difficult, right? Right? You know what I mean? Um, which means uh, one of those tracks would have a third remake, and one of them would have actually two of them would have 3 remakes because one of them was written on an iPad. Um, the title track of that record is uh was written in GarageBand. That was the first song I ever wrote, and it was a 6-minute long epic that didn't really showcase my skills very well because actually I think it did because I sucked dick back then and you know. But regardless, I don't know if maybe I'll do that in the future. Maybe I'll release like a bonus thing at some point. I'm not really sure if I really care to. It'd be cool, but you know, I don't know. I don't know if it's necessary. There's a lot of bonus content I could probably release on a whim and just be like, "Hey, uh I was going to put this on this album, but I didn't. So here's a mediocre song that didn't make the cut." Uh, you know, like I do like a B-sides record, I guess. That might not be a bad idea. I could maybe do that, but I didn't have many B-sides for Noise, and I didn't have any B-sides for Reality. Um, but that whole War Simulation record could probably be there, and the couple of songs that I've written for this record could probably be there. I don't know. Maybe I'll consider that. Maybe I'll try to finalize those songs somehow and do a B-side record. Maybe a couple months after this new one comes out, which I don't know when that'll be. But yeah, that was a lot of talking. It was a lot of talking. And I didn't do very much recording. I recorded one little section here, right here. And I copy and pasted the rest. I didn't listen to this yet with the new drums. I don't like that cymbal being missing. It doesn't fit very well. Those toms need to be just more. They sound fine. I feel like the snare is way too fucking loud. Probably didn't change much, but have a really stupid idea. Like a really stupid idea. What if? Oh boy. Oh yeah, because both of these are up right now. I mean, this is unwatchable, right? Like this wouldn't work, right? Like this isn't like a DS. Like I can do. That's actually kind of funny though. I almost like that concept, but this is so unbelievably unwatchable. It's like, why the fuck? I like that though, right? Right? That's kind of funny. What happens if you look at it in full screen? Does it look? It's actually not bad. It's not bad in full screen. I'm watching. Okay, hold on. Let me just put this on screen for a little bit so I can. I think the second screen needs to be a little bigger though. That's the only thing. Yeah, I mean, this could work probably. It doesn't look good. I don't know. This would be good if I had like stream elements on the right and the left. It would make a lot more sense. I'm gonna pull up my. I like how my stream goes from randomly looking like absolute dog shit to like, oh, it's better now. Yeah, this is possible. It's very clearly possible, but um this actually isn't that bad. I don't mind this as much. Yeah, why does my stream look like literally terrible? Like when I look at it at any other part of the stream. That's fucked up. And then whenever I oh, actually no, it does kind of look like shit here too. But it looks like even worse shit here. You know what I'm talking about? Like here it looks fine. So I don't know what the fuck's going on. But anyway, this might be a good setup for this. Maybe. I don't know. I can't really tell. But for now, I'm going to stick to that for now because I can. Anyway, same symbol hits, but whatever. God damn it, stop doing that. Yeah, I love this like air raid siren thing I got going on. They almost kind of harmonize with each other. Almost. This tone sounds terrible on its own. With the way you hear the picks, the pick attack, it just doesn't sound good. You know what's funny? I just realized that oh, I turned my mic off for when I recorded that, didn't I? Yeah, I did. I was gonna say, oh, I left my mic on for that. But no, I literally did a speech saying why I had to turn it off. Um, I don't think I need to be doing this much longer. I was originally inspired to record, and I thought I would get more done tonight, but I think it was probably better to just kind of like test the waters a little bit, do some explaining on the album, what's gonna happen, how I'm feeling about it, just discussing what it's gonna be, and also just showcasing this particular song, which will be on the album. And actually, I mean, if you see the name on the corner, in the corner, then you know what it's gonna be called, because I'm pretty sure this is gonna be the final name. I can't think of anything better for this song. I actually just I manifested in my brain what the album is gonna be called, and I won't be saying that either because well, the album's not ready yet, so what's the point? So I'm gonna try to maybe reveal as little of this album as possible. I think if you're here for this stream and you know what happened and you want to be, interested in what's going on, then here you go. Here's your sneak peek. But I'm not gonna go out there and just be like, here's a song for all of you to release. Like, I feel like you should be a big fan of me if you want to fucking sit here and watch me talk about a song I'm doing for what is it, 3.5 hours now? Yeah. Um. But yeah. Uh. um. I don't know where this song's gonna go. I really don't. I like the way this is leading up to something, but I don't know what it is exactly. Because I'm feeling another breakdown, maybe another breakdown, as if there was another, as if there's a. Let me find my pick. I don't know where I put it. Can't see shit in the dark. I found it. Funny enough, I need to buy more bass picks because all of them have, uh, like cleaned off ends because of how hard I play the bass. I'm gonna plug my guitar back in for a bit just because I need to see if I can figure out a riff for this next part. I'm thinking it should probably slow down, maybe. I don't know. I could just do like, just like the. I already did that, actually. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot I could do with this next part, but I'll I'll figure out my options. I don't really know about right now because it's 1 in the morning. I'm kind of tired. I'm actually hungry for some reason. Even though I did eat, I had chicken. It was good too. Um. Oh Christ! Shut up. But yeah. Uh. I. I feel like this was nice to do. I don't know who's gonna come back and watch this. I did post on Instagram that I streamed, so maybe they'll see that I streamed. I know some people came in here for a bit. There's some people that stayed for a little bit. I hope that you enjoyed the stream, and I hope that this was a good experience for you, and that you've gotten some insight onto what I do and how it works for me, and why it takes me so long to do things, because it's a fucking pain in my ass. But you know what? It's a good pain. Pause. Uh, it's if you put enough into what you love, sometimes, no matter how difficult it can be, it's worth it. But my mic is currently falling apart at the seams as we speak. So I need to get out of here. I'm gonna get a drink. I'm gonna maybe try to find something small to eat before I decide to go to bed. Luckily, I've already showered because it fucking poured rain at work today. So by the time I got home, I looked like the underside of a wet sock. Uh, so yeah. Um, I don't know if I'll do this again tomorrow or anytime soon. I may work on this on my own. This may be a one-time thing. This may just been like a, hey, listen to this song that's gonna come out pretty soon, and hey, look at me record 2 things, and hey, look at what I'm doing, and then me explaining about my past albums and my current album for a good hour and a half or so. But I you know, that's why I'm here. I'm happy to talk about things, even if it's, maybe not to the biggest group of people on the planet. It's not a big deal to me. It really isn't. Honestly, I think just putting my stamp on the music world is enough for me, and maybe one day I'll have these records on CD. That may be kind of cool. I don't know how possible that is, but maybe I'll talk with some people about making official copies of my album. See how much that costs. Maybe buy like maybe 5 copies or so and give it to people. Sell it to people. Maybe, I don't know. It's just not like, I have picks. I could sell my picks. Um I have 2 different picks. The one from my first era, and then the second one that I made when I finished doing noise. I didn't do another one after that, but I really like the noise picks. I feel like they're pretty good, but I probably could make another one if I really wanted to, but I don't know if I have the money for that. I actually need to look that up. What's the name of the brand? Intune Grip? Intune GP. That's right. Which page is open right now? Is it the front, the first monitor? Yeah. Okay. But yeah. I need to get going because I am tired and I'm getting a little uninspired just because of situations involving the stream and situations involving my life and just recording in general. So maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. I'm glad I got it a little bit further though, just to kind of continue the idea a little bit, add maybe 20 more seconds onto the song. You know, it is what it is. This is kind of a normal thing for me. I spend 3 hours on like 25 seconds. It's what I do. It's what I'm best at. So and I don't have a problem with it. Um, so yeah. If I do happen to do this again, then well, yeah. But I'm gonna go now. So I'll see you all whenever that may be.